Sitting here waiting to pick up my son from school. My son's in high school. He's a freshman in high school. His favorite thing in the world right now is basketball. If you've been following me on YouTube, you've probably seen my son since he was a baby. I've been doing this for a long time now, and just been documenting the journey. And I just, kind of look back, and I realize there's so many young barbers in the industry now. Whether you're young or you're older, but you're new to the industry, I just figured I'd offer, a little bit of wisdom to you guys, and hopefully, if you're having challenges, if you're facing issues, if you're not growing like you want to, or maybe you are growing like you want to, but you don't quite know what the next step is, I'm hoping that this video right here will be of value to you. When I started out as a barber, we were charging $14 a cut. Well, really $5, obviously. Like, everybody kind of starts off really, really cheap because you ain't got no clientele and you're trying to learn how to cut hair, right? So first and foremost, I would tell you, follow the laws, whatever your state laws are. So that means you got to get your barber's license. Go get it, because you're holding yourself back if you don't. And I know it sounds expensive. It's gonna take a long time, but for the most of you guys, y'all got it good. Like in Florida, it was 1,200 hours to go to barber school. And I remember I was working two part-time jobs, one at Boston Market, one at Arby's. My wife had a part-time job. We had a kid on the way. I was poor as heck. And I went to barber school, and I was waking up every morning. My shift was at 5 a.m. because I was doing the dishes and doing prep at Boston Market, pulling feathers from chickens, putting them on these steaks to put them in the oven so that they could rotate. And then cleaning the dishes at Boston Market. They had these little meatloaf pans, and the meatloaf would be stuck, and it would be hard, and you'd have to really scrape it with like the Brillo pads. Oh, I hated that job. I love Boston Market, and I enjoyed the discount on the food, but that job was tough. And then from there, I would check out. I'd be there for like 4 or 5 hours. From there, I would check out. My next shift would be at Arby's, and I'd be there from 11 to 7, something like that, because I was full-time at Arby's, part-time at Boston Market. And then after that, I would go to school, and I'd go to school for 2-3 hours. I think my school closed at 9:30, so from like 7:30 to 9:30, get my little 2 hours, get my little 10 hours a week. No, I'd get more than 10 hours, because on Saturdays I would do 8 hours, so I'd get like 15 hours a week. But this was 1,200 hours. It took me like 2 years to finish barber school. So if you're in Florida now, it's only 600 hours. Y'all got it so good, man. Go get your license. That way you don't have nothing holding you back, especially if you already know how to cut hair. And while you're going to school, be the best student possible. Don't sit in the back. Come to the front of the school and treat it like you're in the barbershop. Don't just practice your haircuts, practice your service, listening to people, talking to people. Invest in this so that you're actually interesting to be around, because you could give me a nice fade, but if you're annoying, nah, I'm just playing. But like, I've lost clients because I can't relate to a certain client the same way another barber can. And he couldn't cut hair as good as me, but they're both Giants fans. You know what I mean? Like, or for whatever reason it could be. So you want to work on speaking to people. And I was an introvert. I did not like speaking. Even now I don't speak well. Like I don't approach people and can just come up with a conversation. In the right environment I can, but it's gotta be the right environment. So I would say, man, really work on how you speak to people. There's all kinds of books on there. There's all kinds of YouTube channels. I even took Toastmasters, as crazy as that sounds. But you'll be surprised how important it is to be able to connect with people, have a good conversation with people, but also realize and understand body language. Know when people don't want to really talk and they just want to relax and they want to get a good haircut. That's really important, and you want to learn a lot of that while you're in barber school. And then when you're learning how to cut hair, learn how to cut efficiently. Not just quality. And I know, I hear it all the time, quality over quantity. They got a point, but you got to have balance. You kind of got to work on both. Because if the way that you get quality takes you an hour, you're not going to be able to do the same cutting, the same way, the same techniques, doing quality haircuts that take you an hour. You have to learn techniques that are going to allow you to have good quality in an efficient manner. That's what it is. You know, efficiency isn't rushing. People kind of conflate the two together. Efficiency is mastering your craft, building systems so that you can do it quickly without sacrificing too much quality. No matter what, you know, a 30-minute haircut's not going to look good. It's not going to look as good as like the same skilled barber doing an hour-long haircut. It's just not going to happen. But it can be a quality haircut. And what I'm going to tell you right now as a shop owner, and in my career, I've owned over 13, 14 locations. Currently, I own 11. So and this has been over the course of 12, 13 years. I've experienced a lot when it comes to not just my own clients, but the clients of hundreds of barbers. And I can tell you, it's not just the quality of haircut. Most people can't tell the difference. There's a diminishing return on quality, guys. If you're trying to build a career, if you're trying to serve your community, if you're trying to build generational wealth, if you're trying to provide for your family, and you're trying to buy your time back, because you can't work behind a chair forever, there's a diminishing return on quality. You know, maybe not for you because you've been watching haircut tutorials, and so you can see those incremental improvements across different barbers depending on their skill sets. But I can tell you the difference between myself, let's say I'm doing a wave cut. You know, somebody like 360 is gonna do a way better wave cut than I am. And wavers know the difference. They know they're different because they care a lot about their hair. I'm not gonna beat Jeezy when it comes to wave cuts. I just ain't. But I can knock out a hell of a fade, a hell of a taper, right? And there's gonna be a hell of a business cut, a hell of a kid's cut. I might be able to lace up the beard. And there's gonna be enough customers who aren't sitting on social media all day looking at what the best haircuts are, that are gonna sit in my chair and be happy with what I offer. But if it takes me an hour, they don't wanna sit in my chair because they want a efficient haircut, which is a good quality at a good duration with good customer service. And you gotta be consistent. You feel me? Like, you can't have it all. You can't have a level 10 quality haircut with a 30-minute duration and a level 10 customer service. Like, there's gotta be some compromise here, but if you package it all together, you will get booked. And what I tell barbers all the time is do what you can be the most consistent doing. If you can't be consistent giving everybody a damn massage, a hot towel, a hour and a half haircut, then that's not the service that you want to be known for. Don't do it. The other thing I would tell you is don't rush to charge, you know, premium cuts. I care more about what I make at the end of the year than what I make per haircut. And I know barbers who charge a premium cut, right? And they don't make as much money as my cheapest barber at my shops. Our barbers make 6 figures all day, and we just went up from, I think, 25 to 30 recently. That doesn't mean that that's what they take home. You have an average ticket. You have your haircut price, might be $30, might be 25, might be 40. I don't know, whatever your market rates are. But you also have a price for haircut and beard, and then you also have a VIP cut. And then you also might have, I don't know, a family package or something. I don't know. But the average of those services together might equal 45. And if you work in the right, you know, some countries, they don't have like tip culture, but America, we got tip culture. These people are dropping another 10, another 15. And so you might actually be making $50 to $55 a cut, even though you're advertising you charge 25 or 30. I would rather promote something that would leave the door open for people than promote, oh, look at me, I charge 100 a cut, and nobody's willing to come try you out because that's a lot of money, right? I'm not saying don't charge a lot, but I think that you should get booked first. I think you should build your clientele first and let the demand push your prices up. That's the smartest route to go. And the reason why I say that is because it is the fastest route. Like, in that 3-year span that it might take you to get to that premium price, you would have made way more money and got there anyways than someone who starts at $100 and tries to build for 3 years. They're finally booked, on the third year, but they made $100,000 less than you in those 3 years. And guess what? You still got to the $100 haircut. I'm hoping that makes sense to you. That's just kind of like off the top of my head what I would say for somebody who's like really, really starting out. And maybe I'll do this in different parts in like as a series. But the next thing I would tell you is, you should be networking with barbershop owners. If there's local shows, go to them. Become a familiar face, not just to potential customers in your city, but to other barbers, because this is a big industry, but it's also very small, right? The guys who are doing stuff in this industry at a high level are very, very unique. There's a lot of bad barbershops, a lot of bad shop owners, a lot of bad barbers who don't want to do nothing, who are slow and complaining. They think it's everybody else's fault besides their own, but they won't promote themselves. But there's also barbershop owners who don't do nothing, right? And there's also school owners that don't do nothing. But if you take this craft seriously, the same way, a law student takes their craft, the same way a medical student takes their craft, the same way a software engineer takes their craft, if you take it to that level and you're constantly investing in yourself, you're constantly learning, and you're trying to get better every single day, 1% a day, right? That's what they say. You won't believe the opportunities that are there for you, because there's not enough people in this industry willing to do what it takes to become that person. And it's not easy. Well, it kind of is, but it's the discipline part that's not easy. It took me a decade, guys, of learning, of studying. I learned how to do fades and all that stuff, but that's not where I stopped. I wanted to make this a real profession, a real career. I wanted to build wealth doing this. I wanted to change my family tree doing this. I wanted to be a platform and a pillar in my community. I wanted to inspire people, not because of the things that I say or how many followers I have or how many views this video got, but the substance, actually doing stuff. And then all I've been doing is documenting what I truly do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's important. And that's become like a lost thing in the barbering industry, because a lot of people pay attention to the results. They don't really pay attention to the substance, the core of it, the foundation of it, And the thing that I've noticed being in this industry for over 15 years is influencers come and go. Followers come and go. Viral videos come and go. Sponsorships, being a educator, it comes and goes. Some of you guys have been following me for 12 years on YouTube, 10 years on YouTube. You haven't seen them come and go? Document who you are, what you truly do on a day-to-day basis. And that lasts. Discipline over motivation. I say this all the time to my guys, man. That's what's really important, because you see fruit of your labor. No one can take my barbershops away from me. It would have to be a world war. It would have to be something crazy. I've been through a recession. I've been through a pandemic. We still standing, baby. No one can take those things that we truly built. And I just created content over them. And by the way, we created so many jobs doing it. And I think that having that long-term mentality for anyone who's, watching this and they don't really have a lot of clarity, having that long-term mentality and being able to be disciplined for a long period of time, man, you'll be thanking yourself later, bro. You'll be thanking yourself. My 20-year-old self was thanking my 25-year-old self. My 25-year-old self was thanking my 30-year-old self. And now I'm 36. And I only say this to inspire. I don't say this to brag whatsoever. But if I didn't want to work another day in my life, I don't have to. I am financially free. I have time freedom. I can do whatever I want, when I want, how I want. God is good. He gave me a plan, and I just stayed consistent with it, and I followed it. Even when it wasn't the funnest thing to do, I did a lot of stuff I didn't want to do. I sacrificed a lot for a lot of things that I didn't want to. But man, the things that I'm able to do today, and what's funny is I work harder now than I've ever worked in my life, but it's because I love it. I enjoy it. The light keeps getting brighter. The opportunities keep getting better, because you can't fake. You can't fake when we're talking about real opportunities, when we're talking about real success. You can't fake it, People will be able to smell you a mile away. And it's amazing the doors that have opened for me because I chose this longer term, this purpose driven, this plan that God gave me. Man, the amount of doors that have opened. So I got way more to give, but I feel like I just start this series out like this. And if you guys got questions in the comments, maybe that'll inspire the next set of videos. So I left off with always be learning. I left off with go and network, go and speak to other barbers, go speak to other barbershop owners, because your network really is your net worth, and this industry isn't that small. I mean, isn't that big. You'll be surprised the people that you meet in this industry, that are connected with other people. Next thing you know, you want to be part of a barber show, you want to start a product line, you want to get into distribution, but you did some things that just weren't moral. You burned some bridges along the way for no reason. Because although this industry, people ain't just gonna hand you opportunities, you have to walk through those doors when people open them. And when they open them and you walk through those doors, you better not let those people down, because they could open the door for somebody else. And what tends to happen is those people who are able to open doors, they get backstabbed. And maybe that's not even the right word there. But you don't meet your end of the bargain because you didn't deserve it. You think you want it, but you don't know what it takes to walk through those doors and stay in that room. A lot of people have had the door open to them. They walk into that room and they can't stay in there because they wasn't ready for it. You can't force those things, and you shouldn't. Become the person that's too hard to ignore, so that when you do walk through that door and you enter that room, that room gets brighter because you're there. I kind of use that as an analogy. It might have worked out, might have not. Y'all let me know. Anyways, if y'all got questions, man, in the comments, I want to keep building this series out. I love this stuff, so I'm always gonna do it no matter what. I feel like, God pours into me. He gives me so many blessings, and I just want to be a vessel. So God bless y'all.